Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen.
Hello.
Today, we are with a wonderful surrogate. She has been on a Friday Facts with us before, but now she has completed her journey. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Thank you guys for having me back. I'm excited to
Sure.
be here. My name is Whitney. I'm a second or two-time surrogate. I am currently 9 weeks postpartum. Uh, Little girl is back with her dad's, and she's spoiled and loved, and I get pictures every day. So, you know,
So
still
sweet.
pumping for her.
Wow.
She's been uh, weird to ship from Hawaii to New York, but we're
Yeah.
we're doing great with that, and yeah, just getting back to normalcy and back
Yeah.
to my own like kids and my own life again, so it's good.
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
That always fascinates me how you send the breast milk. Do you dry ice it
Yeah.
or you freeze it and then dry ice it?
There's a company called Milk Stork, and they
There
like
you
ship
go.
it in a cooler, and I pack it and then ship it out, and
Very
it's
nice.
like guaranteed for like 96 hours.
Wow.
Oh, that's
That's very cool. They
nice.
capitalized on that market, didn't they?
Oh,
Good
for
for them.
sure, for
Good
sure.
for them.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
fun. Well, I just wanted to go.
Oh,
How did you
sure.
do that when you were on your trip? Like,
Oh, so that
wait.
was so I did take my big trip to Japan recently. And I just had a pump and dump, sadly, because
Okay.
How come?
internationally it gets very like tricky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you have the baby with you, they won't let you bring it with you. So
Ah.
so a lot of gallons of
Hmm.
breast milk are in the drains of Japan now. So
That's
Wow.
crazy. Is it because they
Yeah.
think you're smuggling things
Mhm.
in it?
yeah, I think the TSA, like the liquids and
Yeah.
the
Because
Oh,
you can only
okay.
take so much on a
too
plane with
much,
you.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. So
It
Breast
makes,
milk.
I
it
think
makes,
I could have like maybe figured it out if I had more time or like prepared more for it. But
yeah.
initially, I was only going to pump for like 6 weeks,
Mm,
Oh,
and I continued to just continue on.
yeah.
So it was odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I know I saw the videos of you like pumping and dumping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how sad. That's just so much waste. And you poor thing, because you still have to do it. So it's like still
Yeah.
taking time and energy of you. But
Yep.
My family was
Okay.
really good at it though. Like I had to stop and like dip off into bathrooms or like corners and stuff, but they were good about it.
oh,
Oh,
good.
very sweet.
Well, so how did you find out about surrogacy to begin with?
Yes.
So I'm
Hmm.
adopted.
Me
Um,
That's
too.
right.
Me too.
I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that like knowing that I was adopted and like knowing I had come to my parents a different way than, the old fashioned way.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of always struck an idea in my head to like help someone else in some capacity.
Oh.
And I
Yeah.
always kind of thought that was going to be to foster, because
Okay.
initially I did not want to get married. I didn't want to really have my own children.
Oh,
I wanted to foster.
okay.
Hmm.
And then I got married and I had my own children.
Yeah.
But when I had my son, it was such an easy pregnancy, and it was so like, you know, such an amazing feeling when you have this baby, and I was like, this is what I want to do for someone else.
Aw.
And I'd watched the Lifetime movies and the
Yeah.
Hallmark movies, and so I kind of knew about it.
Yeah.
I think the first time I saw was Phoebe Buffay on Friends,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah. Funny.
Wearing a friend shirt all the time.
I love it. But that's like kind of the first time, and I was like, oh, that was cool. And then I just kind of looked into it more and more, and I started kind of really looking into it and kind of chasing that dream in 2017.
Okay.
Didn't actually go through with it until 2021.
Oh,
So 2021
wow.
was your first journey.
Yes. Yeah.
Was there a
Okay.
reason for the delay or were you just researching and taking your time?
Well, the first like 2 years taking my time, and then I found an agency that I thought I loved,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and signed with them. And then after about a year of just back and forth and a lot of ups and downs, I
Mhm.
was like, maybe this isn't the right time. So I kind of
Okay.
like stepped away. We moved from Florida to Hawaii.
Whew,
And
that's a big
then,
one.
yeah. And then 6 months later, the pandemic hit.
Right.
Oh gosh,
Right.
okay.
And then 2021, I was actually at my dental office, and we were talking about surrogacy.
Oh,
Okay.
funny.
So then I started looking into it again,
Okay.
and I found another agency, and it just kind of worked out that time.
Okay.
Oh,
There you go.
wow.
That was the
So wait,
first one.
Whitney, I have a question. Were you
Yeah.
with, because this is like the untalked side, like the untalked about things in surrogacy. Like, were you with the first agency and like just like no matches were happening, or like things were like obstacles were kind of just like being like thrown in like your way, like just
It
like
was
unexpected?
it was like one thing after the other. So my husband's in the Coast Guard,
Oh
and
wow.
at the time he was traveling a lot, like doing like a lot of travel to Panama and El Salvador,
Wow.
and right like a few months in, because at the time I had different views, so my match pool was already pretty small.
Okay.
And then he was traveling, and then Zika happened.
Ah.
Oh.
So they were like, okay, well, he travels to areas that are affected by Zika.
Oh.
So unless you're tested every few weeks when he comes back, or unless he doesn't travel there for 6 months or longer, we have to like put it on hold. And I was like, well,
Are you
he
kidding?
can't just say no to these
Right, that's
trips.
his job.
This is John.
And yeah, and they wouldn't cover the testing, which was like at the time like $1,200 a person, and they wanted both of us to do it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot on you guys. That's an interesting
A- And
thing.
I have never heard that one before,
Yeah.
like because of Zika, but it makes
Which
so
I
much
found
sense.
to be funny because we were in Florida, which was also
Right, a hot
affected.
spot. Hmm.
So I was like, well, I live in Florida, but
Huh.
it was very odd. But
Okay.
it was a lot back and forth, and
Yeah.
then he finally stopped doing the specific job he was doing with the Coast Guard, and he wasn't traveling anymore.
Okay.
But then like the case manager left, and I got a new one, and she really didn't know anything about me, or
Oh,
like
yeah.
she was kind of flaky. And
Yeah.
then she left, and I got another case manager, and
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
maybe this just isn't right now. Like,
in one
Yeah.
year, you had 3 case managers or less than a year?
yeah.
Gosh.
It's actually
But
more common than you think. I just want to
Is
throw
it
that out
really?
there. Yes.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
because with my first
Wow.
successful journey, I had, I think, three
Mhm.
while I was pregnant.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
Can we just diverge for 1 second? When you say that, Kennedy, is it because it's a burnout? Is it because it's
I don't know the reason. I just
okay,
I just know
high
that I mean in
turnover?
my experiences too, I've had case except for my last one because
Okay.
that was crazy. But like
Yeah.
all the other ones I've had at least two or three, and it's like, oh yeah, so I've gotten a promotion, or oh, I've decided to go a different way. So I'm
Oh,
like, is it a big turnover?
yeah.
It's like it's something, but it's very common in the industry to have more than one, and it becomes very frustrating because then
Yeah,
you
I can
develop
imagine.
a good relationship with somebody, and then
Yeah.
like you just said, Whitney, and then you have to like go back and explain it all, and it's like, can we just CC you on every single email? Because like
Yeah.
I don't want to take the time and tell you my whole life story again.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is, and even like my most recent journey, like I had the same case manager throughout the whole thing, and
Helpful.
she had a huge promotion in the middle of it, but
Oh
she was like,
wow.
nope, I'm your girl, like, and
Oh,
Oh, I
that
love
felt
that.
so nice. I was like,
that's
okay,
nice.
this is nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
So you moved agencies then after the 1 year type of thing?
Yeah, I left them, and I had a friend reach out to me kind of asking if I would like carry for her, because she
Oh,
had a child via surrogacy, and she knew I was kind of pursuing it, and we talked about it, but again, like the pandemic happened,
yeah.
and I kind of like never went anywhere. But I looked into different agencies, and when I did, I found one very close by, which I thought was a good sign.
Yeah.
But proximity isn't always best, is what I will say about that.
Okay.
I can agree with you. That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then when it came to your first journey then,
Mm.
how did matching go? Were you shown profiles? Were they shown your profile, and they were like, "Hey Whitney, we got somebody who's interested." Like,
Yeah, so the couple I matched with, they were the first people I saw.
oh
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yeah. And again, like I was so new to
Yeah.
and the first agency I was with kind of led me to believe that um I didn't have a choice so much in
Mm.
matching,
Mm-hmm.
that like if we show you this, you deny it, you might not have another chance, kind of thing. And I was like,
Wow.
so this was the idea that was put in my head.
Okay.
So when I
Did-
had the first profile, I met with them on Zoom, and I really liked them,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
but had I not liked them, I think I still would have said yes, because
That was
Oh,
put in your
afraid
head.
that it wasn't going to work
yeah.
out. you know,
Felt
Right.
the
I really
pressure.
want to pursue this. But yeah, I do love them very much. They're part of my
Oh,
family.
good.
I love them very much. But yeah, they got my profile. I got theirs. They had been working with an agency. They were matched with somebody previously. It
Oh.
fell through, and
Mm.
then they were working with another agency, kind of closer to where they were when I joined that agency. And
Okay.
they reached out and were like, "Hey, we have somebody for you. Like, just meet her before you move forward with anyone else."
Yeah.
And we met, and it was a match. It was good.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
good.
Yay.
Well, I do just want to also put out there, if you don't feel comfortable when you meet them, say no. Like,
Yes, and
Right.
as
okay,
over
Trust instinct.
experience, you definitely like learn that because
for sure.
throughout my first journey, like I did not advocate for myself. I was so terrified to disappoint anyone,
Right.
and I had this pressure on me
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
I would speak up for a lot of things that I didn't feel comfortable with. And
Wow.
When you
I,
probably weren't reassured a lot through it
Yeah.
too, in the sense that, like, oh yeah, your feelings matter. Oh yeah, you do
Mhm.
have a say. Like, don't worry, it's not just, you're not just paid to do something. Like, it's, it's just, it's the way it was probably portrayed to you, because like you said, they had said like, oh, if you don't say yes, like, good luck waiting a long time.
God.
and
That's
it's
a huge
scary
red flag
how
right there.
manipulative.
No
But
problem.
yeah, it's super scary, like how manipulative like some agencies are, and
Mm,
it's not in your best interest. It's in
mm,
their interest to get more money in their pockets, and
Right.
yeah.
that's
Right.
scary.
It's a red flag for both intended parents and a surrogate, I
Mhm.
think, because
And
it's
that agency, not everyone that we encounter was bad,
Yeah.
but they
okay.
dropped the ball so hardcore from my IPs.
Oh.
Oh,
They didn't put like my bed rest policy into effect. They didn't put, yeah.
like it was nowhere in your
Wait.
contract?
It was.
Oh,
It's like the bed rest insurance that they're supposed to put into effect, where if I have to go on bed rest,
Right.
yeah.
instead of like them paying out of pocket, there's this insurance policy that will cover.
Oh, I
Yeah.
They
didn't know
never,
that.
they never put that into effect for them.
Oh
So when I went on bed rest,
gosh. It all
yeah.
came out of their pocket. Oh.
And then
That's
they
not
never put like
cool.
the newborn policy in effect for the hospital. So they had
So
to
that
pay the hospital expense.
oh crap.
Oh no,
Really?
was
It
it
was,
like a new agency? Like, were they new to life? Like,
I think there are a few, like they're not new, but
newer.
maybe, yeah. And I
Yeah,
really should have just researched it so much more because
Yeah.
it's hard.
But how do you, you
But
you
that's
can
just
research
that
it
I,
to death,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
still maybe not get with an agency that supports you. I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying
No, no,
they're
no.
yeah,
But your poor IPs, so much could have
yeah,
been avoided.
so much could have
all
been
that
avoided.
extra financial strain on them. That's hard. That's
Oh
hard.
gosh.
Mhm.
And then I ended up getting a bill, a pretty big bill after the baby was delivered. And I let my agency know, and they're like, "Oh, we closed escrow." And it was only like 12 weeks after.
Aren't they
What?
supposed to stay open for like 6 to 12 months?
And they're like, "Oh no, we only do like 12 weeks." And like it was like the 13th week mark or something. I was like, "Okay, so what do I do with this?"
Right.
They're like,
Because
"Well,
I'm not
reach out to
paying it.
them because you're close with them. Like let like reach out to them and
Oh,
like figure it out." And
What?
no.
Oh my
Uh-uh.
gosh.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
so
I'm so sorry. So
Yeah.
you had to
I
Deal
break the
with
paid.
news
it.
to them.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
good.
paid, I paid for it.
What?
Um, I didn't want to put that on them
Oh, well,
because
that's sweet.
it wasn't their fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure, but still, not your fault either.
No, no, it's not. But
Agency should have
I
paid
just
it.
covered it, and then it actually came out recently because they were visiting pretty a few months ago. They were visiting me, and it came out,
Did
and
you paid it?
the
Yeah.
the mom was like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh my god!" And she panicked, and I was like, "No, like it's
Oh,
fine." And I kind of gave my husband the side eye because he thought they knew know about it because he dropped the
Right.
ball. And I was like, "How do
oh,
you know that?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Because I didn't feel like you had to pay it. You know,
yeah.
you'd already
Oh,
like done so much to get your baby.
right.
Yeah,
It shouldn't have been on my shoulders either, but I wasn't gonna do that to them either. Like,
for
Right.
sure.
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. Big
Very,
ball
very
dropped.
nice.
Big
Yeah,
ball
big ball.
dropped.
yeah.
We closed
Wow.
escrow at 12 weeks. I'm sorry. No.
No way, because you can still get, I mean, we've had people on here like that are professionals in that field that say, no, you can still get bills up to a year after.
Yes, you
Like
can.
it depends on how slow
The
or
hospital
behind, they
process.
are with
Mhm.
processing payments. Wow, 12 weeks. I haven't heard of
So
that.
sorry, Whitney.
I
Golly.
know.
Yeah, it's okay. It was definitely a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next
How?
time the second journey I went on, I did a lot of
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure. How was your pregnancy though? Because you just said that you were on bed rest. So,
Yeah.
it was great. My
Okay.
pregnancy was great. My blood pressure was a little bit elevated, but at the time my job was very, very intense,
Mm.
okay.
stressful. I mean, even non-pregnant on a bad day, my blood pressure would spike because it was a high toxic environment,
Wow.
high stress environment. And my doctor was like, you don't need this, but like I want you to be on light duty.
Sure.
He's like,
Okay.
so just like leave your job. I'm gonna advocate for you, like this shot, because I would go in when I was off and my blood pressure was fine.
Okay.
And I'd go in and he's like, I noticed that every time you come in scrubs, your blood pressure's elevated. He's like,
Yeah.
let's talk about things.
Wow.
And my doctor was phenomenal.
Oh.
And he's like, I'm gonna advocate for you. Like, you need to stay home, stay away from that place. He's like, and even after you deliver, you should probably stay away. Um,
Wow.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Scrubs, I take it you were a nurse?
I was a veterinary technician.
Oh
Oh.
gosh. Bless your heart. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, and you have a blind kitty cat. Well, that kitty cat is in the best hands.
Yeah, I came to Hawaii with 2 dogs, and I'm leaving with the dog and 4 cats.
Oh my
Jeez.
I've adopted all 4 of them
gosh.
here, so
Oh my God. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
that's
yeah.
so sweet.
Okay.
Okay, so
So what
had
week? Wait,
delivery.
what week?
Oh,
What week on bed rest? What week? What week?
It was like 35, 34,
oh, so
35.
Okay.
late.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, not terrible. No, nothing
Wasn't
terrible.
too bad. And you could still get up and kind of take care of your kids and do what you
Yeah,
needed to
yeah.
do.
I
Okay.
can still, like, he's like, you can go to Target, like you can do like things. He's like, I just don't want you at work.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Got it.
well, I have to work for like my income.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he's like, nope. He's like, I'm writing this note. You're on bed rest. Like, you need to like relax for your IPs and this baby. So I was like,
So,
okay.
so if they didn't put that policy into play with the bed rest, the IPs ended up paying that. You weren't out that money, were you?
They
Okay.
paid. Yeah, they
Okay.
paid that. But she was furious, not at me, but she was furious with the agency.
Yeah, of
And
course.
at about 28 weeks, the agency like quit communication with them completely. Like,
With the IPs?
What? But
yeah,
what about
like
with you? Did
with
they
them. Yeah, no,
just
not
with
with
them,
me.
not with you?
Yeah, not with me, just with them. But like
Weird.
wouldn't respond to their emails, like wouldn't.
What?
Yeah, it
That's
was
that's a shame. It really is
That's
because
really sad.
it was very messy.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
She
Huh.
uh she has said multiple times the only good thing that came out of that journey was her baby and
you.
our relationship.
Yeah.
For sure.
It left a definite sour taste in all of our mouths.
Oh,
That's
I
that's
can
that's
only
too bad. That
imagine.
really is because that should be the last thing everybody's having to worry about is
Right.
responses from agencies and getting the
Right.
advocacy and the help that y'all need. Yeah.
Well, because the point of an agency is to have the
Be the-
help,
Yeah.
the advocating, the
Yep.
support,
And
the
there's a
things in
contract.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's literally the agency's job. So when it
That's how
doesn't,
you
when
hire
they
them.
don't do it, then you shouldn't
Wow.
be an agency. But that's fine. So your delivery went okay?
Yes, it went smooth.
Okay.
So there's only like 4 hospitals that deliver where I
Okay.
live.
Okay.
Only one has a NICU.
Oh,
We were going to use the NICU hospital originally, and then decided not to. We used a different one.
okay.
And then that we went in, I was induced. I didn't really want to be induced.
Okay.
What was the reasoning for it? Do you mind sharing?
I was 38 weeks and sorry, they
Okay.
I was 38 weeks and or I was 37 and he's like, oh, like we should induce you like because my IPs had come a lot earlier
Oh,
Okay.
and they're international.
Okay.
So they come a lot earlier because like there was signs pointing to possible labor.
okay.
Mhm.
But again, like I knew it really wasn't.
Yeah.
This was their first time. So they
Right.
got nervous and they're like, we're really far. We're getting on a plane now. We're coming to you.
That's
Oh.
fair.
And they only had so much time to be here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So they came pretty early and we're like, okay, well, baby could sit in there for another 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's like, we should induce, and also he was measuring really big on the monitor.
Mm.
He's like, if, baby's too big, you might not be able to deliver naturally. Like, let's just go ahead and induce. So I
Okay.
felt kind of pressured. And that's the only like time I was ever pressured by my doctor. Cause I
Yeah.
do him, but I was like, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I did
It's
it.
really interesting because most doctors won't even suggest induction,
Yeah, they
right?
won't.
They're on the flip side of it, and they're like, well, when you're 39 and like so many days, then we'll talk about it.
Or when
Yeah.
you're 40, when you're past due, then I'll, like, that's my doctor. He's like, never. You have to
Yeah.
be over. And I'm like, oh, you
Right.
suck.
With my kid, the doctor was like, once you hit 42 weeks, then we'll talk about it. And I was like,
God,
42?
yeah.
Oh, no.
I was like,
that
that's
gets
acceptable.
That gets
That's a long
risky in my
time.
book, but that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah, that gets
God.
risky.
But
Wow.
we induced. I
Okay.
got to the hospital. They knew I was coming. Checked in, and the nurse was very pleasant until she read on my chart that I was a surrogate.
Oh,
And
stop it.
her attitude flipped very quickly. Her behavior towards me, she was like, well, pick somebody to be in here because they're not all in here. Like, pick 2 people. My husband was there. I was like, well, the parents are on their way. She's like, we'll figure it out before they get here.
wow.
That's rude.
And I was like,
Charge nurse. I want to talk to the charge nurse. That's what I would have been
okay. Like, well, I was panicking.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, okay, like they're coming up now. Like, let me go talk to them. And she's like, you can't keep coming. You can't keep switching out. Like, figure it
Why
out.
not?
And then they were like, no, like, we'll go back to our Airbnb. You stay with her.
Oh.
And he's like, I've seen my children come into this world. Like, I want you to see that for yourselves. And so does Whitney.
Yeah.
So they fought him, but they ended up staying. He left in tears because the nurse like snapped at him. She's like, okay, you're leaving, then get out. Like, you need to be gone. And
At your
and then-
husband.
yes. And then after he left, I was like, okay, so mom and dad are going to be here, but what happens if something happens to me and I need someone to make choices for me?
That's where my brain
Like,
went. Yeah.
you're being ridiculous. Like, you're going to be fine. And I was like, people die in delivery every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And she's like, well, then we'll call him if it gets to that point. I'm like, he lives 45 minutes away.
No, you just sent her person away. Like, what are you
Wow.
doing?
She's just like, it was terrible. She ended up leaving. She was day shift.
Okay.
She ended up leaving. The night nurse who was there and who actually delivered was very great.
Good.
The delivery went well. That nurse came back
Uh.
at shift change
Yeah.
and was doing the massages, to make sure your uterus is going down.
No, I would say don't touch me.
So much pain.
Yeah.
And I finally grabbed her hand and I was like, you're hurting me. And she said, I'm doing my job. Let me do my job. And I pushed her away and I was like, you will not touch me again.
Good girl, Whitney.
I was so
Good.
angry. I was like, we're done. Find someone else. Like, we're done.
Good.
And I filed a complaint with her.
Good.
And I found out later that she was fired, not from that, but she was fired from other like inappropriate behavior with patients.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I was literally the whole time I was thinking, I was like, man, if my mom was there, she writes these good letters. We got I had a situation when my son was born. She got fired because my mom wrote a letter. Like,
Yeah. No, it was bad. She put Kennedy's life and the baby's life at risk, mainly the baby's life. And sorry, no, that's not happening.
But
It's not
still,
happening.
but this lady just put your life in possible
Big time.
jeopardy because of the fact of like what
Absolutely.
you had just said. Because my brain went, wait, hold on, her advocate person just left.
Just
Like,
like
these people, yes, as great as they probably are, they're there for their baby, and that should be their only
Right.
thought. And like your person should be your person. Like that's wild. So,
Thank God, like she's like a sister to me now.
I love that.
She advocated me through my pregnancy. She advocates for me now.
Good.
If she even thinks someone's mistreating me, she's like a ball of fire. And she's
Love
like, you
it.
don't treat her this way. Like she's so
Mama
feisty.
bear.
I love her so much. But so she would have advocated for me in the
Good.
moment, but it wasn't her
Yeah.
job to do so.
no,
Right.
it wasn't.
And and I understood there were certain policies because of COVID and all these things, but like there was ways you could have spoke to us
Mhm.
and not treat my husband like he was the plague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
because even he was like, can I go sleep in my car and like just wait here?
Yeah.
She's like, leave this room, you leave the hospital.
Wow.
And he was like, okay, like, but literally left in tears because he didn't know what to do. He was so
And
Yeah, he's leaving his wife. Like, Yeah.
Nuts. I
Wow.
just don't get that.
So the night nurse didn't let him come back?
It was so late, and like I didn't even
Yeah.
want to ask because I didn't
Sure.
Yeah.
know. So I
Yeah.
didn't even like, bring it up. I just kind of let it go. But that was at a hospital called Queens. So this go around, I was like, I will not deliver there.
Right.
Okay.
Good.
Just funny for
Yeah.
my actual this
This
go
next
around.
story. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Good deal.
that's delivery. You guys are on good terms, everything that. And so then how long after did you decide that you wanted to be a surrogate again?
It's like 3 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, okay, like I'm finally
Wow.
like back to like pre-baby weight and like I feel normal
Right.
again. Let's do it.
Oh, how
And
funny.
throughout this, your husband's supportive and on board?
So supportive. Like
Okay, good.
Brandon is the best hearted, most supportive human being. You know, he's a great guy. Like he's a great father, great husband. He's my best friend. Like and I know people say like their spouses are their best friends, but he really is. Like, and some of the ideas that I have in my head sometimes are very out there and bizarre. And he's like, okay, you know, whatever you want to do, like let's do it. And
So sweet.
the sweetest thing I think I've ever heard from him is that his goal in life is to make sure all my dreams come true. And I'm like, you know, he's a beautiful, beautiful soul and
So sweet.
very supportive.
Very
So when you
sweet.
said after 3 months, hey, let's do this again, he's like, okay.
He's
No
like,
problem.
okay, you know, he's okay. And I didn't actively pursue it until about 6 months after.
Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, clinics
Yeah.
and everything too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
2 months, and then looked at some different agencies and
Okay.
really
Did you
looked
have-
at agencies.
Did you have a waiting period as far as they wouldn't allow you to get pregnant again for a year? Any of the clinics or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It was a lot of waiting because embryos weren't done for my the parents for the second time. But no, there was no really waiting period. But I pursued it probably August of 2022.
Okay.
And then I didn't get pregnant until like May of 23.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And how do you match with this couple? I know you're with a different agency. Is that safe to say? Okay.
Yeah.
And are you looking at profiles or are they looking at profiles?
I found this agency because I followed my case manager on like TikTok and Instagram, and
Okay.
I loved her, and she seemed very genuine.
Okay.
And she absolutely is.
Okay.
So I went with the agency that she's with.
Oh, okay.
And she was super supportive. Like I applied. She emailed back like 3 days later. We connected, talked. Things moved forward. And about a week later, the owner of the agency called me.
Oh,
Yeah. I was like, hey, like I know you barely applied.
yeah.
But we have a couple who was matched, but it fell through, you know. It wasn't bad terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't.
I recently met the surrogate that they were matched with previously. So small world.
That's weird.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. But you know, it just didn't work out for one reason or the other.
Okay.
But he's like, you know, their match broke, you know, but they're still looking. Would you be open to, you know, looking at their profile?
Yeah.
And I did, and I think I read it about 12 times.
Oh,
I love them so much. And then we did a Zoom call within 2 minutes. My husband's sitting next to me, and I squeeze his leg. Like I feel it like in my stomach. I'm like, yep, this is them. You know, and again, it was my first meeting, you know, but first, you know, it was the match.
Yeah.
So,
now, are they international as well or no?
No, they're domestic.
Okay. Okay. That's a different journey. Yeah.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Very different.
Same state as you or different state?
Different state.
Okay.
Different state.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about the same distance from me currently as my other ones, you know.
Oh, how funny.
Oh, how funny.
Just because I'm in the middle of the ocean somewhere. But
Right, you are. Oh, how funny.
That's true.
Oh, I had a quick question because we didn't go over it, and I always forget to ask this of people. So for your med protocol, did you have injections, pills, suppositories? Like what was your stuff?
For the first one or the second one?
Both, because I'm sure they were different.
If
you can remember.
Yeah. The first one was progesterone oil injections every day, once a day. suppositories for like the 2 weeks leading up to transfer, plus
Mhm.
like 5 days after, I think.
Okay.
What they had me on? They had me on a steroid.
Oh.
They had me on an antibiotic
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Pretty standard.
and then baby aspirin.
Baby aspirin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and estrogen too.
Estrogen,
But
yes.
in pill form. And then this time it was just estrogen twice a day, the progesterone injections once every other day,
Nice.
Oh.
and then suppositories twice a day.
Isn't it crazy how much they differ?
So
Yeah.
so crazy. And they actually want to go with a non-medicated cycle.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
Did not work out.
Okay.
Aw, bummer.
I was tracking my ovulation, and they were going to transfer a week exactly after I ovulated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for one reason or another, I didn't ovulate that month.
Oh,
how
Okay,
weird.
like, yeah, they're like, no big deal. Like, we'll just like do medication. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but when
Okay.
they
How
texted us, they
interesting.
were like, you didn't ovulate. We're not going to transfer. We all were like, oh no, it's over.
Yeah.
And then she called and she's like, let me clarify. No.
Good.
We're like, okay, we can breathe again.
Okay.
Aw.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
all the, because even like all, everyone I follow who I watch their med cycles. I'm like, it's so different. Every
So
clinic
different.
is so
Yeah.
different.
So
Yeah.
like there's patches. I'm like, what is this patch thing? Can I
Mhm.
have it? Like I would
Yeah.
take a patch over a shot. Like this
Is it
sounds
estrogen? Is it estrogen that's time released or is it progesterone? Do you know?
It's estrogen.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's time released.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the girl that I know that does them,
Yeah.
Rachel, hers is estrogen. So
Nice.
I love Rachel. Little shout out to you, Rachel. Okay, so then how does this pregnancy go? Like, well, did it take the first time? Did both of them
Yeah.
take the first time? Wow, we're really
Yeah.
sucking on our questions here.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay.
They both took first time. I did transfer two this last time.
You
Only one
did?
took. Yeah. I took because I was
Okay.
gonna do a twin journey.
Okay.
Only one took. And I remember my numbers were so high that I was
Yeah.
so full because beta numbers were like really high.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when we went for the ultrasound, there was only one. And I'm sobbing.
Oh.
And these beautiful men are like, wait, why are you crying? I'm like, because you wanted two. Like, no, it's okay. I'm like, but I really wanted to give you two. And, and then, I took the day to, like, you're hormonal, and
Yeah.
For sure.
again, you put so much pressure and expectations on yourself.
You do.
So I really wanted this. And when it didn't work out, like, I was blaming myself, but
No.
then a few hours later, I'm like, this isn't my fault. I know it's not,
It's
No.
not.
pregnancy is science. It's a weird
The
science.
weirdest
Like,
science
you got-
ever.
You got pregnant. There was one and it ended up being a healthy baby. Like that's reason to accelerate right there. Like task completed, task accomplished. My gosh.
Mhm.
And, I had to give myself a few hours. Like I agreed
Okay.
for a few hours because I really wanted the two for them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, back to reality. Like this is fine,
Yeah.
And I remember them telling me, like, they called some friends and were talking to their friends, and one of their friends was like, why would you want to, like, do you know what you're gonna like do to yourselves, and why didn't you tell us, but it was
So at this point, are you not back at that vet tech? Did you
no,
not?
I never went back.
Okay.
I'm actually the nanny for two of my friends who work there.
Oh,
how funny.
Yeah, I nanny their kids.
Good for you.
That's a nice little job though, because then like you can stay home and you have kids and it's more flexible and less different type of stress. Also, I won't say it's no stress. It's
And to me, it's so easy. Like people are always like, do you like kids? I'm like, I like newborn to like 4. And then
like newborn.
yeah, and then like 4 to like 16 is so scary to me. Like 9 and 12, I'm like, I don't know how to talk to you guys. You're so scary.
Oh
my gosh.
Preteen.
Well, speaking of your kids, what do they think of this whole situation?
My daughter's, she's got the sweetest little heart. Oh, my son does too, but she's like, this is really great. You're gonna help somebody. And we also like foster so many animals.
Yeah.
So when I told him about surrogacy, I was like, hey, look, I'm gonna kind of do for a baby what we do for cats and dogs. Like I'm gonna keep it in my belly and keep it safe for a while.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna go off to its forever home.
Oh,
They were like,
sweet.
okay. And like they were younger at this point, the first time.
yeah.
And the second time they were both like, okay, and they call all of these people like aunties and uncle and
Oh,
their,
sweet.
and their cousin, their baby cousins and
Yeah.
it's very
So
super supportive.
the thing that goes around,
Mm.
ours are surrogates, your children are negatively affected by surrogacy. What is your response to that?
Mm.
Absolutely not.
Right? Yeah.
To me, it's like broadening their horizons. My kids are
Mm.
seeing that families are not created the same across
Mhm.
the board, and there's different ways to
Exactly.
make a family, and families look very different.
Mhm.
You know, because I came from kind of a small-minded family.
Okay.
Okay.
I love my family, I really do, but
Yeah.
they can be small-minded sometimes, and I never have been.
Yeah.
I've always like questioned why, and like I
Mm.
love that people look different, and I love seeing different families, and this
Mhm.
to me is just like their way of seeing that it's all different and it's all okay and it's all beautiful,
Right.
and
Exactly.
it's helping them see the world through multiple lenses instead of
Yeah.
just one.
Exactly. I
So.
couldn't agree more.
That's great.
Okay,
Did they
there you go.
get to see the babies and say kind of like end
Yeah.
that journey for everybody? Okay. They got to
Yeah,
kind of
the
put some
first
closure.
baby was here for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we
Well,
visited.
international.
Yeah,
Right.
we visited so much with them while they were here, and they've come to visit twice
Gosh.
since then.
Oh,
We visited them where they live.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
we send pictures, and he'll be 2 very shortly, like next week.
Wow.
Wow.
And
That's
then with
amazing.
the little girl I just delivered, we had dinner with them before they left. They were here for a lot less time.
Yeah.
Uh, but we get pictures all the time. We FaceTime.
Oh,
And we're going to be about 2 hours away from them because we're moving this summer.
Oh,
how
wow.
cool.
And we're already planning like apple picking in the fall and like
Nice.
Christmas and all that. Yeah, so
That's very
it's
fun.
exciting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to get into this journey.
Oof.
I know. So I'm just gonna. So it takes the first try, and then do you want to go from? Do you want to go from there?
Yeah, it takes the first try, and like the whole pregnancy is a dream.
Okay.
It's super easy. There's
Okay.
no like nothing crazy happens. Just normal, healthy, easy pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, like, I will not deliver at Queens again. I'm not doing it. I'm delivering at Kapiolani.
Okay.
And then I was having like some serious contractions around like 35 weeks.
Mm.
And I called my doctor. He's like, just meet me at the hospital. Like, we'll see what's going on. He's like, it's probably nothing, but better to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
So I went and they monitored me for a little bit, gave me some Procardia, and they stopped. I went home.
Okay.
And that was at the hospital that I wanted to be at.
Yeah.
Well, then fast forward to I'm 37 weeks and like 4 days.
Okay.
Monday. And I go into my appointment. I feel great. My blood pressure is not so great.
Oh.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, like, were you doing anything? I'm like, no. And like, do you feel okay? I'm like, I feel great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's probably nothing, but we're going to go ahead and test you for preeclampsia
Yeah.
just to do our due diligence,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
I thank them for so much because a lot of doctors,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, it's just a little high, like, you're fine. But my
Yeah.
doctor's like, nope, we're going to test you anyways.
So how do they
So
test you?
Yeah.
they send you home with this like gallon jug.
Okay.
You have to pee in.
Oh, you have to pee in the whole
Pee in the
gallon.
jug?
Well, you pee in a cup and then you pour it in the jug. For
Okay.
24 hours, you do this.
You
Every
collect
time-
it all.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Every time you go, you collect it into this jug.
Okay.
It's so gross. But
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
yeah. So they walk in, they hand me this jug and they tell me, I'm like, oh, okay. So this is Monday, and they're like, start tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So Tuesday morning, I wake up and I start the whole process. And Wednesday, I drop it off at the lab. I still feel great. But Thursday morning, I wake up around like 5 a.m. because I wanted my results. And I knew they'd be on my
Wow.
patient portal.
Okay.
And I open it up and look, and I'm like, yep, okay, it's preeclampsia. Because I know there's not supposed to be protein in your urine. And
Right.
it was like 400 and something. And I think
Okay.
it's like 0 to 150 is
Is
the
normal.
normal range or
Uh-huh.
something. And it was like 470 something. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
And I sat around and waited for a while, and then my doctor called me at like
Okay.
8. It was like 8:02. They had barely
Yeah.
opened.
There you go.
Well, it was the nurse practitioner. She called me and she's like, hey, so I was like, yep, I already saw the results. She's like, so you know. I'm like, yep, I know. Like,
Okay.
what does the doctor want to do? And he knew, so the parents were on a different island visiting.
Okay.
They had a baby moon, you know.
Okay.
Oh, cute.
They knew it was getting close.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been like the last few weeks. Like they wanted to do like a week, you know, baby moon, and then like they were gonna come here and spend time with just, you know, me and my family.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But they were pretty close. And then my mother-in-law was gonna come into town that Sunday to like be here for my kids and stuff, you know, while I was recovering. So and the nurse practitioner, her name's Jess, she's like, so, you know, doctor knows all these people are like not on island yet. So we're gonna wait till Monday, but Monday you're being induced.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And she's like, so take it easy. Like if you have a blood pressure cuff at home, monitor. And I
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
And she, you know, and just let us know if anything changes.
Okay.
So I hang up and I call the dads.
Yeah.
I'm like, so we're being induced on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And they're like, why? I'm like, well, I was like, I didn't tell you this on Monday. And I'm always very transparent about everything. But because my doctors were like, it's probably nothing. I
Right,
don't want to
yeah.
scare them.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was like, I didn't tell you Monday, but they tested me for this and it came back that it is. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, you know, don't panic. I feel great. Like
Right.
we're fine. She's super active. And I have fetal diagnostic or fetal medicine appointment later today.
Okay.
The maternal fetal medicine.
Do they come to your island or do they stay where they are?
They stay where they are for the moment.
Okay. This is Thursday. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I go to maternal fetal medicine. I think I'm saying that right. And do my ultrasound there. It was like my last ultrasound with them. And I tell them about what my OB has found.
Mhm.
And they're like, okay. They're like, okay, well, you know, congratulations, you know, you made it, you know, this and this. And they seem like everything's fine.
Okay.
I leave and I'm in line at Taco Bell to get my kids lunch because I'm picking them up from school, and Taco Bell's right across the street, and I always get them talking like,
Oh.
I should see them Taco Bell, but I'm in Taco Bell line and my OB's office calls.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So I answer the phone and it's Jess, the nurse practitioner again. And she says, so it's not going to be Monday. You're going tonight.
Mm.
I was like, oh, what happened?
Maternal fetal medicine said no way.
Like, yep.
You're
She's like,
going.
MFM called doctor and was like, why are we not doing this tonight?
Mhm.
And my doctor's like, I wanted to, but I knew the parents weren't here. And he's like, I was trying to give time. He's like, but he's like, you calling me solidifies that it needs to be at night.
Yeah. The flag immediately went up in my head when you said, we're going to push this to Monday. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Oh, and
Okay.
my mom,
Sorry.
one of my IFs, or one of the dad's sister-in-laws was like, what? Like, why is she not going tonight?
Right. And
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
hear the rest of
There
the
was a lot
story.
of people who were like, you know,
Yeah.
and my doctor was like, you know, MFM never calls me directly, never. For him to call and say nope, he's like, I was like, okay, you know, he's like, but I was trying to give more time.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I get home, I call my husband, he's at work. I'm like, hey, like, when are you gonna be home? Because we gotta go to the hospital tonight. He's like, okay. And I call the dads and I'm like, so change of plans. It's tonight.
Oh my God.
And they're like, oh, I'm like, so get here when you can. and then I remember like kind of crying because I had cried that morning when they first called and told me that I had it. And I was like, gosh, like this, I don't know what this means for my future. Like, I don't know, like,
right.
You know, delivery, it needs to be safe.
Yeah.
But also for my future,
sure.
like, you know, pregnancies, if I decide to have any more, you know, and I felt like I like failed and, you know, just some crying. And then I finally got to a place where I was like feeling better.
Yeah.
And then they called me and they're like, nope, it's tonight. So I'm talking to the dads and I'm kind of crying. And then I look at my nails and I'm like, God, I wanted to get a manicure before I did this.
funny.
And it broke the ice for all of us.
Aw.
But I was just like, okay, like we can do this. We can do this. Like manicure or not, like we're figure it out.
Yeah.
So I went that night and oh, what I left out. Monday when I went in,
Yeah.
My doctor tells me that they're going to test me for preeclampsia.
Yeah.
And he's like, if it is, we'll get you over to Queens. I'm like, I'm not delivering at Queens. I'm delivering at Kapolani. He's like, nope, they're on strike.
No.
Yeah. The nurses were all on strike.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Oh. He's like, yep, everything's messed up over there. Like, we're going to
No.
Queens.
Jeez.
I was like, okay. I was like, I really don't want to do this. He's like, why not? And I told him, and he's like, no one will treat you like that. I promise you. He's
Okay.
like, if they dare do, you call me and I'll be there quick.
Okay, well, good.
What
I'm
a
glad
good
he's
guy.
got to have your back.
He's like an older British guy. He's so funny. I
Oh.
love him so much. He really is great.
Sweet.
But I get to the hospital and I have all this anxiety because this is the hospital that I don't want to be at.
Right.
Yeah.
I know how I felt last time. And we walk in, and the sweetest nurse named Evelyn greets me. And she's like, we've been expecting you. And she like into the room and she's like checking me in. And I was like, I'm a surrogate. And she's like, that's amazing. And I was like, okay.
Already better.
This is gonna go different.
Yeah.
And she was super amazing. And then there was a Patricia who came on the night during the night. She was amazing. Like all of our nurses, everyone we encountered in the hospital, this crowd, phenomenal.
Good.
But
It should be.
I got there about 6, and Dad still were not on island.
Were they in pursuit?
Like
They were trying.
it's like a little plane ride, right? Like a little hopper jump.
Only like half an hour, but they were like packing up their Airbnb and trying to like get all their stuff together.
Okay.
Get over here. And then they had found a flight out at like 9. But when they got to the airport's like, you booked this within less than an hour, you're not getting on this plane.
What?
But we're here, you haven't even boarded yet. And they're like, you're not getting on the plane. Luckily, they know some people who pulled the strings. And they're like, you're gonna put them on that plane. Good.
Wow.
So they got on the plane, made it. They got to the hospital about midnight.
Okay.
Meanwhile, are you like in active labor? What's happening with you?
Yeah, I'm contracting, and they had me on magnesium, which is brutal.
I hate magnesium.
Ridiculous.
So brutal.
Why'd they have you on that? Is it because it
try and slow you down?
The high blood
pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was they gave me like a bolus of it at first. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like, now we're gonna put you on a constant drip. I was
made
not
you feel
pleasant.
sick, right?
It's not fun.
And like made my whole body feel just weighted down and heavy.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like this. But they get there at midnight. I'm in the bed and I'm contracting and I'm breathing through it. And about 1 a.m. they come in and break my water.
Okay.
And then contractions get a little bit more. And then we kind of nap here and there. We're not progressing very quickly.
Okay.
But so it was like a lock-in, like I don't know if you guys know, like a lock, like everyone's like just sleeping on the floor.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the bed, my husband's on the floor, one of the dads is on the floor, one of them's in the chair. They're all trading out,
So they let them all be in there this time? Okay.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
And in between like us napping, we'd all wake up and like giggle like teenagers, and we're talking, and we're having all these memories and sharing stuff, and
sweet.
And then we'd all fall asleep again, and then I contract and wake up, and there's these 3 men all just like, what do you need? Being super supportive. And but I guess they started really going at about 4 or 5 a.m.
Okay.
And I was breathing through them, and then about 7, I was like, okay, like I need the epidural.
Okay.
Oh, you waited that long. You go, girl.
12. That's 13 hours.
For to check, but I didn't ask to be checked. I was like, let me run to the bathroom. Like I went to the bathroom, I came back, and then I was like, okay, I'll get the epidural. They gave me the epidural, and then they checked me, and she's like, she's ready. You're right. I was like, oh, I could have done it without it.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
like, nope, like she's like, I should have checked you, but
okay.
so my husband sets up the camera behind us and he's recording, and I push for about 45 seconds.
I thought you were gonna say minutes.
No,
Jesus.
no.
Wow.
She's born and she's screaming,
My gosh.
and
Wow.
she's just like so wildly alive. Like,
Oh.
okay, we did it. Like, we did it. And they put her on my chest. And
Had you guys talked about that? Had you talked about that ahead of time? Okay.
when they got to the hospital, yes. Like, they're like, what do you want to do, baby? I'm like, oh, give her to them. They're like, well, we read about like golden hour and this stuff. Like, we want her to like spend that time with you.
Oh,
So I held her for the first hour of her life.
wow.
And
That's almost unheard. Wow. Wow.
it
That's
healed
cool.
something in me from my last journey.
From your last
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I love my IPs from that journey so much, but I was terrified to hold their child.
Why?
Because I think that I had this weird connotation in my head that if I held him too much or if I loved on him too much, that mom might think that I had this attachment. So I was very afraid to hold him. I didn't want to show like a lot of feeling toward him because I didn't want to take anything from her.
It's very intuitive, Whitney. Wow. Wow.
It's such a wild like
Yeah.
thing, and it's such a silly thing to think, but I just didn't want to ever take anything from her.
You're being respectful.
Yes. And
Like above and beyond. Yeah. Wow.
so I was so afraid of him, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm okay. Like, and I did hold him here and there.
Okay.
It wasn't until he was about like 5 days old that I really like held him.
Okay.
But with her, they were like, we want her to spend time with you. And as this beautiful little girl is laying on me, like, it just healed my heart. And I was like, I'm not taking anything away from anyone. Like, I'm, we're completing this together.
You are. Yeah.
And this is like the end of the circle,
Yep.
And but they put her on me and she immediately peed on me. Like, I was like, I'm like, why am I wet? Oh, she's peeing. She's peeing on me. Okay. I was like, well, hello to you too, little one.
That's great. That's great.
But we, dads are sitting there and they're holding her hand and, they're like admiring this beautiful little girl and I'm admiring her. And, it was just such a beautiful like hour like that we all had.
Did you all stay in the room for just that hour and then kind of split, or even longer?
So my husband stayed for a while, and then he ended up leaving about noon to come like and help out with our own kids because our neighbors had our kids. And
gosh,
so
nice neighbors.
Yeah. Oh, we have our neighbors phenomenal, but they all had the kids because my mother-in-law wasn't here. She was supposed to be the one to watch the kids, but she wasn't here, so our neighbors took over. And he was like, I'm gonna go home, like take care of the kids. I was like, okay. So he left and they moved us to our postpartum room.
Okay.
But because of the strike at the other hospital, the hospital we were at was so full that we were all in the same room together.
Okay. Were you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like but it's her and it's me and it's both dads, and like there's like a little cot and there's a chair. And I'm like, wait, they have cots here? Why didn't they bring in a cot last night? The delivery room is massive and the postpartum room is about this big. So I'm like, why didn't they do this last night? People were sleeping on the floor. But that's here nor there. But we're all like in this room together and we're all very delirious and they're learning how to be parents for the first time. And I'm giggling, the first diaper she had, I think they used like 12 wipes.
Oh my God.
And I'm in tears laughing. And he's like, I think I used too many. I'm like, 2 would have been enough, I think.
That first one though, man, it's gross.
It's so gross.
Yeah. It's so gross.
But just like watching like these 2 people that I've grown to love so much, do all their first with their little girl. Like God, like
that's cool.
Really like amazing. This is what it's about.
Yep.
And it breaks my heart that not every surrogate gets that. Not all surrogates want that closeness.
Sure.
But the ones who do, like who have been robbed of it, like this is what it's supposed to be about, like building families.
Yeah.
And even like your own, like my husband always says, you know, we stopped at 2 kids, but we're still building our family, just in a
Mhm.
very unauthentic or unoriginal way, you know, we're
Yeah.
you know, but it's still like extensions of our family.
Yeah.
And you know, watching them just like love on her and you know, be with her. And there were so many times they were like, here, will you hold her? I nursed her, you know,
Oh,
I nursed her for the first 2 days in the hospital.
awesome.
And but that first night was rough. Whew.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I bet.
I was still on magnesium. They had me on it. Yeah, they had me on magnesium from 8 p.m. when I went in Thursday night to Saturday at 8 a.m.
Oh my God. And she's born when? Friday
8
morning?
a.m. Friday morning. They had
Oh,
me on it for 24 hours after she was born.
oh,
Because the first thing you want to do after you deliver is shower. Because
Yeah.
that post-birth shower is
The
the best
best.
thing.
lovely.
And they wouldn't let me. They're like, nope, you're on magnesium for another 24 hours. I was like, okay. And
Well, that's to protect you though too, Whitney. I mean,
yeah,
it had
and
to be
I
done. Yeah.
totally understood, but
Yeah. That's still.
you know, I couldn't get out of bed to go to the bathroom
Yeah.
by myself. Help. And the night nurse we had that Friday night, she was like a charging rhinoceros.
In a good way?
Lovely,
In a good
lovely.
way or a
She was very rough.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I don't mean to laugh because she was rough with you. Oh my God.
She was very sweet, but she's been a nurse for like 30 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Very sweet. But there was 2 doors to my room. There was like one door in like a little room, and then there was the door to the actual room.
Okay.
Okay.
And she would like push that door open and it would fly and hit the wall. And she'd come charging in and like throw meds on the counter, and she's like banging on the keyboard.
Jeez.
And
Oh my gosh.
oh, okay. Should you have to go to the bathroom? And the first time I was like, yes. So she helps me out of bed. And I am pee shy. I don't want to go to the bathroom with someone outside the door.
Yeah.
But she kept like opening it and talking to me. I'm like, I'm never gonna go. Like, I'm gonna sit here for forever.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next time I have to go, I don't call her. And I like drag myself out of the bed.
Were you allowed to get out like with the magnesium? That's what
Probably not. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a
no.
rebel.
like
And
all these
both
red flags
dads are
in my head. Okay.
Both dads are asleep. And I'm like pulling myself to the bathroom. Yeah, I know. And then I come out and I look up, and one of them's sitting up and looking at me. He's like, and he starts like crying.
Oh.
He's like, you poor thing, like you're suffering so bad. I'm like, it's okay. He's like, let me help you. I'm like, nope, I got this. I'm already in the bed. Yeah. So I was like, so he's like, but we did this to you. And I'm like, nobody did this to me. Like, this is just one of those things.
Yeah.
But getting off the magnesium, like also like I'm a huge water drinker. I mean, I drink water constantly.
Good.
And you only have like so many sips an hour on
With
magnesium.
magnesium. Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh.
My like lips are chapped, and I'm like, I just need water. She's giving me like little like medicine cups full of like water.
Yeah, you can barely have any.
And that was brutal. But she would just come in and charge in, and we'd all wake up. She was checking me every hour on the
Every
magnesium.
hour.
Well, kind of needs
like,
Yeah, but there's
magnesium.
no sleep. I'm sorry. You gotta
Mhm.
find the fine line because there's no sleep. You just had a baby. Like
every hour they need to check your reflexes. And they need to like listen to your heart and make sure you're good, like with the magnesium.
Magnesium, yeah, it's a nasty drug. Yeah.
And every 2 hours they're checking the baby. So she'd come in and check me, and she'd like bang in there, and we'd all wake up.
And then she'd come back and do baby.
Leave, and then she'd come back in, for me and the baby.
Yeah. Wow.
And at one point she like comes in and she's like, oh, I need to check her, but like she's resting like so good. Like I'm just gonna let her rest. Like I don't want to wake up the baby. I'm like, but you're great waking us all, the rest of us.
Waking us up. Wow. So how many days, because you were on the magnesium till Saturday, when did they finally let you go?
Sunday afternoon.
Wow, that's
almost
long
like a
time.
C-section stay.
Yeah.
And I love my doctor, but I do, because even my last pregnancy, he like it's a mandatory for him 48 hours
Okay.
minimum.
Okay.
Okay.
does not want you gone before that time.
Oh,
Okay.
So 48 hours, like, after delivery.
yeah.
So I was there till Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
She was gone before I was.
Was she really? Oh, see, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we all cried. Like, they came in because Friday they were in my room, and then Saturday they got their own postpartum room. Right
okay.
now,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
all Saturday they were still in my room until Saturday night. Then they're like, "We're gonna go to our room so you can sleep." But we're all
Oh,
like, "Oh," and I was like, "You can stay if you want."
oh,
But they went to their room, and I slept a little better that night.
good.
And then Sunday they came back. They did not sleep.
Yeah, I bet. With a
Like,
newborn.
baby did not sleep.
Aw,
But they left at like probably 11 in the morning.
okay.
They came in to say, goodbyes and stuff. And I'm watching them like walk out with her in the stroller, and I cry because I'm like,
Of
wow,
course.
it was like a proud mom moment. Like,
Yeah.
my boys have their baby, and they're going off with that, they're going off with her. And then one of them told me, like, he cried because he's like, it felt
Aw.
weird leaving without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
supposed to be there with us. And
Hmm.
but I left that afternoon, and
Okay.
when I got home, I collapsed into my bed and just cried, this like deep
Aw.
cathartic cry,
Aw.
just because it was like such a roller coaster of
Yeah.
emotions.
For sure.
Gosh.
My son came in and saw me. He's like, are you okay? Do you need anything?
Oh.
Like, no, but like, I'm okay. Like, this isn't a sad cry. It's not like a bad cry. It's just,
Like a healing cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
but
Sometimes we just need to let it out. There's just too many emotions. That's what I tell my kid. I'm like, sometimes
Yep.
if that's the only way that your body knows how to get it out, then just get it out. Like you don't know how
So
you know.
do they stay like a couple days because they're domestic and then they leave, or
yeah, they stayed for a week.
a
And
week?
then,
Oh,
Okay.
oh, so nice.
So you got to meet up a couple
yeah,
times? Okay,
yeah,
good.
my mother-in-law got to meet the baby and them.
Oh, good.
Um,
Aw.
she brought them a whole bunch of gifts, and
Sweet.
then they flew back on Friday. And I think that Saturday I had like the hormonal crash
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like hit hard. And
Uh,
but it was just that one time, but and I was expecting it. I knew it was going to happen because with
yeah.
my first journey, I didn't know it was going to happen.
Okay.
Could you, because maybe I feel like there are people who are listening that have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
So did you want to like, you don't have to
Elaborate.
touch on it. You don't
Just a
have
little. Yeah.
to.
So first go around, I didn't know anything about. I didn't know I was going to experience this, but even though going into this that
Mhm.
you're not bringing home a baby, that this baby is not yours, you're still very much a postpartum woman, and
Mhm.
your body is flooded with emotions. And the last time, about 4 days after, I was so touch and go. I was crying constantly.
Mm.
I was so down and
Yeah.
heartbroken, and I didn't know why. And
Yeah.
it wasn't because I wanted a baby. I just, but I called my doctor. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, well, I'll tell you. He's like, you just had a baby. I'm like, I know that, but I've had two babies and I was fine. He's like, yes, but those last two times you had the baby to take care of
Mm.
and no time to think about how you were feeling
Look
Mhm.
at that.
because you were so busy either taking care of a baby or trying to feed yourself or sleep
Mm-hmm.
that you like kind of blocked out those emotions. He's like,
Mhm.
now all you have is time.
Yeah.
He's like, so all these hormones are like hitting you like a Mack truck. And he's like, but I promise you it's okay. He's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be fine. He's
Oh,
like, give yourself 2 weeks. If you're not fine, then come back and talk to me.
okay.
But within like a couple days, I was like, oh, okay, I feel normal again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I knew to expect it this time. I knew it was gonna happen. But for my husband, it is scary.
Yeah.
He hates
And
to
your
see me like
kids.
just
Yeah.
broken up
Yeah.
and so distraught. And you know, uh
And they don't know what to say, and they're afraid they're going to say
Yeah.
the wrong thing. And
And
yeah.
there's really nothing to say except just like, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you need?
do you want some food? Like,
Yeah.
just, do your thing and I'm here because it's just
It-
hormones, like
yeah.
processing.
And it's I think like people forget like how much, because I did like, I hate being vulnerable and I hate like crying on the internet, and I hate exposing myself like that, but I knew like I wanted people to see like it's not always butterflies and rainbows. It's not always
Mm.
happy. It
Right.
mostly is, but you know, the after can still be hard. And it wasn't because I wanted a baby, because most people
Right.
are like, oh, well,
Right.
did you want the baby? I'm like, no, I don't want her.
Right.
Mhm.
If anything, I missed her dad's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We hear that a lot. Yeah.
Kiss my friends, but um, I just want to be vulnerable and show that side. And I think that people forget like how much support a woman who's been pregnant needs. And
Mhm.
it made me think about, women who have unfortunately had stillborn deliveries. Like
Mhm.
Mhm.
there's still a woman who's had a baby with no baby to show for it. And
Right.
like, how are they getting support? Like, you
Right.
know, your body goes through such a crazy shift and so many changes, and you need support.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you do.
And I think that people always focus on the baby and not so much the woman who had the baby.
Right.
Right. And
Agreed.
I applaud you for sharing your vulnerability
Yeah.
because it's a very hard thing to do. It's a very brave thing
Yeah.
to do. And it's something that I think more if people are willing to share it, they
Mhm.
should, because
It can be
guess what?
therapeutic.
I'm sure so many girls reached out to you and were like, I feel you, I see
Yeah.
you, like I get
Yeah.
this, like yes, this was me too, like you're not crazy, you're normal, like this is, and
Yeah.
you can have your little buddies. And so it's just it makes not sharing makes everybody feel isolated. Sharing makes everybody feel seen and heard.
Yep.
And so
Yeah, because all like the surrogates that reached out to me after I posted that video, I was like, and I knew we all went through it, but
for sure. They
it
just don't
was,
talk about it.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's hard, like
It is.
media is
Totally.
really real. You always want to show like, the good parts of your life or the
Yeah.
good part of any journey.
Yeah.
And it's hard to show the negative side, but
Totally.
you have to show all parts of it for it to be understood.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this is a very real part of it that potential surrogates need to be aware of, that this will happen, more than
Mhm.
likely will happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will have to deal
People
with
that
it.
reach out to me who are thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, like this is all parts of it.
Yeah.
And, I applaud anyone who looks into surrogacy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't get to the point of, getting pregnant, you took the steps to look into it and you thought about it, and, but it's not something to take lightly or to just like jump into,
Right.
because it is an emotional roller coaster for sure.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. Would that be your advice to somebody who says, Whitney, I want to be a surrogate? What's your advice?
Buckle up. It's beautiful and it's rewarding and it's amazing, but what you see one person go through might not be your same experience.
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
And there's so many, things that could happen. There's so many different outcomes. And to give yourself a whole lot of grace.
Absolutely.
Go into this journey with expecting nothing.
Right.
Because of how many different ways it can go. Like there's so many different paths to it.
Yeah.
And, I think women in general put pressure on ourselves, so much pressure. Carrying someone else's baby is a whole nother different kind of pressure.
Whole nother level. Yep.
But, just give yourself grace and time and patience, lots of patience.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that what might look like for someone else might not be your case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Well,
Thanks, Whitney. That was
your stories
very well said.
Your stories are beautiful with their own twists, but they're still, I mean, the fact that you still have relationships with these IPs is just beautiful in itself, and that, you were able to help two families grow. It's just amazing. And thank you.
I'm super thankful for it. And, there's the $1 million question everyone's already asking me, like, are you going to do it again?
Well, I was going to ask, because you had late pre-E, so can you do it again?
Right.
There's so much conflicting information out there. My doctor has said, like, I fully support you doing it again.
Wow. Okay.
Because he's like, it's a, pick of the litter. Like some people get it, some people won't. He explained to me that it's really like the male DNA with the placenta or something just doesn't.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
Granted, I was on a lot of magnesium when he was trying to explain to me, so I don't remember quite what he said. But it has everything to do with the male.
Yeah.
But he was like, it was so late and it was mild. I would totally support you doing it again.
Yeah.
I am already considering it,
Okay.
but
Wow.
I think that if I do it again, I'd like to do a sibling journey.
Oh.
For one of them, have either asked? I can't imagine 9 week.
Before I matched with my second IPs, I had given the opportunity to my
Oh,
first IPs.
very nice.
He was still so super little, and they're like, I think we're gonna just do the one, and
Okay.
that's kind of still where they are now. They're happy with just the one. And then when I got pregnant the second time with her, we kind of talked about it already, because initially they wanted the twins,
Right.
Right.
So we've kind of talked about it. She's 8 weeks old, so I don't know how to feel about it right now, because
Right. Yeah.
in the thick of it.
And you're gonna be so much closer next trip around, next
Oh yeah,
journey,
that would be
if you
awesome.
I
do
would
have
love
a
to
journey.
fire them up again. I would.
How cool.
I'll present that probably in a few months and see where their
Yeah.
heads are. But I'm getting older. I'm 36 now. But I
That's
also
not old.
thank
I
you.
did my last one at 41.
Okay, and I know it's like 42 is the cap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
42 is the cap now. Yeah.
But if they say no, like I don't know if I'll pursue meeting a new family.
Okay.
Just because both of these journeys and
beautiful.
these matches have been so beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't really want to rock the boat and go for a third time, because I would
Right.
hate to, because I know 3 is probably my max, and I would hate to end on a bad note.
Mhm.
But
Feel that.
I also even don't know. Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
But I even don't know if that's my answer. It's so hard. But I also pre was so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't severe and I felt great. Just
Right.
knowing
Still.
how it has ended for some women.
It's a ticking little time bomb. Yes. It's
Trying, and my kids need me.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband didn't know how bad it was. He didn't know what pre-E was.
Oh.
And when I told him, I was like, hey, they said I had pre-eclampsia, and he's like, okay. He's like, well, what is it? I was like, oh, it's just high blood pressure. And inside I'm panicking.
Right.
I'm
But not
expressing
trying to.
because I'm like, I need him to be
Right.
strong for me.
Yes.
And I went to the hospital and they're putting me on all these medications and they're saying stroke and seizure. And he's looking at me, he's like, what? I'm like,
Wow.
it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And he was able to panic when I was in the safest place possible for
Okay. That works
Good.
out then.
Good.
because I was like, okay, now he knows, but I'm safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
He panicked for a second, but even then he was like, okay, she's in the safest place possible,
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
But I am considering it, definitely thinking about it. I don't want to close the door on it yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also,
Well, you got time.
You
You got time.
I love that. Well, keep us posted. I mean, I'm your friend on oh my gosh, Facebook. I don't go on Facebook. On Instagram. So I'll see what you post and stuff, but I'm excited for you.
Me too.
That's
And
fantastic.
especially being back on the mainland, things will be so much easier and
Yeah.
different.
For sure.
Gosh.
sure.
So
Well,
fun.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
taking the time
thank
to
you.
talk to us. I know we went long, but we appreciate
sorry.
it.
Thank you guys for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
Oh
And
my gosh. Such great stories.
I know.
And
I
the
hope you come
information.
back.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I hope you come back for Friday Facts when we start them up again.
oh, absolutely.
Yay. Great. Did you want to say something? Well, I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay, she's good.
No, because we kind of already said it. I don't want to just repeat it again. So we're fine. Yeah. But hey, if you do a third journey too, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Get in here in the beginning of it. I'd love to hear what it's like to do a sibling journey, right from the beginning.
I know.
Absolutely.
Probably a
That'd be
little different
awesome.
dynamic, way better.
I know. We've never done sibling journeys, so
Neither
they're
one of us.
fascinating.
Well, Ellen kind of did with triplets, yeah.
The triplets, they were all born at the same time, but
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah, technically it was a sibling journey. Yeah. Just all at once.
I'll keep you guys updated though. I'll
Great.
give myself probably about a year before I decide.
Oh, good
Good
for you.
idea.
Get settled too. And good luck with
Yeah.
the move. Hope
Thank
that
you.
all goes well.
Safe
Yes.
travels.
Thank you.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
a
That's
big one.
Yes,
Excited.
it's a big one for sure. Well, have a great evening. Thank you so much, Whitney.
Thanks, Whitney.
You ladies
Appreciate
too.
your time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Whoa.
nice journeys, but wow, that PE, that's whew. As soon as she said it, I'm like, and they said, oh, we're gonna go to Monday. And I'm like,
Can
I'm
you
so,
just do a quick recap of what pre-E is? I'm
yeah,
getting no, but you can speak in medical terms. So
oh,
like, what
sorry,
is that?
preeclampsia. So it's high blood pressure, right? So
Hmm.
you've developed this condition in which it's going to affect mom and or baby or both. And the outcome possibly
Hmm.
could be the ultimate of death. I
Right,
mean,
but why is, but
there's
like when you
no,
go for high blood pressure, like sometimes you just have higher elevated blood pressure than other times, but like
Mhm.
what does the protein in your urine have to do with it?
It's right. It's all spilling out. Your body's not flushing out the protein.
Okay, got it.
Okay, it's collecting in the urine. So there's
Mm,
something backing it up. Let's say
okay.
that's just an easy way for me to
Yeah.
say it.
Hmm.
Um, and too much of that can cause
Other
stroke.
problems. Yes.
Yeah, right. It
Okay.
can cause all of that, which being pregnant, you
Yeah.
stop a blood flow by a clot to a baby, you may have a stillborn, right?
Right.
Mom has a clot thrown in her, and
Right.
it's scary all around. And
Bad
so
things can
she said
happen.
we're
Yeah.
delaying that till Monday. I was like,
Well, because
what?
I know that when you find out about it, you're basically either
Terms?
hospitalized if you're early or you
Absolutely.
like go immediately. So when she was like, "Oh, we're gonna wait," and I was like,
And I was like,
"Whoa,
what
that's
is he doing?
new."
Because he sounded like such a great doctor. And he actually was. He was trying to get everybody because he
Together.
knew all the moving parts. I
Yeah,
totally
for
get it.
sure.
I totally
For
get it.
sure.
So yeah, thank God, thank goodness, everything.
Everything worked out.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And everybody was happy and healthy and still are.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it is scary and you never know. She said she felt great. She had no idea,
That's
right?
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why high blood pressure just generally is this what they call the silent killer because people
Cool.
just don't know they have it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun.
So on a happier note,
Yeah, those were great journeys though. They
they
sound
were,
beautiful and
gosh,
like how amazing. But I get the whole rolling the dice for the third time. You just don't
yeah,
know. You don't want to
yeah,
jinx it, right? You
yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
jinx it. But thank you so much, Whitney. And if anybody else
yeah.
has any questions or stories that they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate.
It's been another edition of Stop Sit Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen. Bye, everyone.
Bye.